It's not about getting rid of the illusion. It's not about getting rid of the plus. It's about being okay with the plus being there and just leaving it alone.
And that's 0 plus. Because we're never always going to be living from 0, just 0. There's always going to be a plus. It's always going to be 0 plus. But if we're okay, like I said, with the plus being there, that's all we need. Welcome to 0 plus. I'm 0.
I'm plus.
Today, what we want to share with you is we were in the presence of a life-changing, game-changing phone call of greatness last night. And
to put it lightly.
Yeah, to put it lightly, yeah. And we wanted to share the notes with you guys because we thought it'd be super helpful. Because we were going to go through them anyway and break them down together. So we thought, why not camera, microphone, makeshift microphone, let's go.
I would like to kick things off with the context of this conversation. Our mentor, Keith Blevens, Dr. Keith Blevens, has been practicing psychology for like 35 years or so. He was talking to someone who has been diagnosed with having treatment-resistant bipolar disorder, and he's gone through a lot. So the conversation that they had was about trying to help the guy, let's call him Stephen, with the problem. So yeah, that's the context that we're dealing with. One thing that I think I want to start off with, everyone has mental illnesses. They are all based in illusion, just like a movie. The part of you that knows this is an illusion is real. So like the part of you that's watching the movie in your head, that's what's real, but the stuff in the movie isn't. I love that. And the stuff in the movie is the mental illnesses.
Yeah, and I love what he was saying, like about when you're getting caught in the movie. It'd be like watching a movie and like believing that stuff's actually happening. Like if a character in the movie gets shot and dies, it's like believing that person is actually dead. That's the equivalent of us believing the thinking that we have and the mental illnesses sicknesses that we have and the stresses and the worries and the anxieties. It's like believing that stuff to be true is the same as thinking a character who's been shot in a movie and died is actually, that person's actually died. Because we're the watcher, we're not the person in the illusion, in the movie.
That's the whole 0 thing, right? Like you're 0 and the stuff that's going on in your head is plus. There's a lot of power in that. Because I spoke to Stephen afterwards, not on the phone, just he texted me, and he goes, yeah, it was a lot to handle. It was a lot to take in, but I feel like it makes sense somewhere. And I was like, all right. And he asked me, what do I do next? So instead of how it was before. He also said, mental illness is getting lost and forgetting who and what you are. You can't get out of the illusion by treating the movie. And that's crazy, man. You know, and he said, like, it would be like getting a movie and like doing some cuts on it, or like taking the actual film and like treating the film. It's not real. So you just leave it alone. Yeah,
he was saying it's like if you didn't like a part in a movie, it's like going to track down the director, the producer, the editor, and be like, look, I want to change this part of the movie. Like, how do you, like, there's a lot of process going into that. There's a lot of doing stuff happening there. And it's like when we're seeing our thinking and the feelings that we're having to be the true reality, that's effectively what we're doing. We're believing that a movie is true. And if we want to change it, we have to go and do something about it, rather than realizing like, oh, no, actually it's just, I don't need to get caught up in this right now because it's just something that's playing out in front of me. It's not actually the reality of being 0, right? It's all plus.
And just seeing that this is all plus, like, seeing it was curative. It's not anything else. There's nothing to be done here. Like, just like if you were upset about what happened in a movie, you tracked down the director and you told him, listen, I don't like it that the good guy got shot at the end. I don't like it that happened. Can you reshoot the movie? And the director would be like, you know, he didn't really die, right? And it would just be like, it would be very ridiculous for us to want to act on those thoughts about the movie, but not for ourselves. Like for so many times, I've had a movie in my head about, I don't like it that this happened. What can I do about that? Nothing. There's nothing, and that's freedom.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because he said like movie fear isn't the same as real fear. It's like if you're watching a movie and there's like a scary scene, you're going to be like, oh, like in that moment, it's going to feel scary, innit? But then you're going to have the awareness that, oh, it's not me taking part in this scary scene right now because I'm here sitting here watching the movie. I'm in the movie theatre watching it. And it's like, we do the same when we dream. Like we have a dream, and if like when you're having a dream, it feels like reality, innit? It feels real. And then you wake up and you have that moment of like, oh, it was just a dream. Imagine we could do the same thing. Imagine we had the same level of awareness to be able to do that with like these mental sicknesses, like, you know, being stressed or being anxious, depressed, like all of this stuff that gets categorized. It's all part of the dream state. Like if we had the same level of awareness of that oh, it's the dream state. It's not actually my reality, because at reality I'm zero. I'm already complete. I'm already whole. Like, how powerful would that be, man? Like, realizing, oh, actually it's not real. Just thought it was for a moment.
Mm. It makes me think what's possible. What are the implications of that? What are the implications of us being able to see that? Because if you can see it, then there's nothing to be done with it. You can just crack on with your day.
Exactly.
It's fucked.
If you could see it as real as you see it when you're watching a movie, like if you knew, like as real as you knew when you're watching a movie, like that stuff's not actually happening right now. Like the implication of that with this stuff, with thought, with feeling, with stress, with worry, anxiety, mental sicknesses, whatever, like unbelievable. Like, everyone would be free. We'd all be free. We'd all be right back at zero.
Mm.
We'd be aware that like, oh, this is zero, that's plus.
I love this implication stuff. It's so interesting. It's such a different way of coming at it.
Mm.
I like the it's okay to have judgmental thoughts because it's like a character in a movie being judgmental. I love that. I think that's really nice to take the pressure off.
Yeah, no, that was a lovely line. And he said this is the one that I love. He said, you can have mental illness without it having you.
Ooh.
So implying what we just said. Yeah, like you can watch the film, but it doesn't mean that you are in the film. Like it's the same thing. Mental illness, like you can have mental illness, but it can't have you, because you're the zero to the plus.
Yeah, you can watch a movie. The movie can't watch you.
Yeah. And you'll never be in the movie.
That's got strong implications for all of us.
Yeah.
You're not in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, if someone thinks I'm worthless because of something that happened to me, that's a movie, and you're not even in it.
Yeah.
You watched a movie and you made it mean something about you. We don't do that normally.
Yeah.
We don't watch fucking Scarface and think about ourselves. I'm a drug lord.
Yeah.
I might be dressed like one, but don't let the outfit fool you now. The implications of that are crazy.
Yeah, it's like seeing that. I think Keith said it, like thought is like the principle of like what creates, you know, the movie. Like comes from the creator, right? And the feeling that we get based on that thought is like it's shadow, because it's like you're seeing like, oh, it's like being scared of a shadow.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, once you know it's a shadow, it's like, oh, okay, cool, don't have to worry about it. Do you know what I mean? Like that is really interesting, because it goes to show like we're all the same. We all have mental sicknesses. We all have, you know, mental illness in some way. And it's like we're no different from each other. But if we know that like we're the one creating that, because we're buying into the movie, we're not at zero. Like then it changes. Like the implications of that is huge. Because again, it just sets us all free, because we know it not to be true.
You know, like knowing something isn't true. It's like knowing that fire is hot.
Yeah.
It's so sick. It's so like it just takes the work off. You know, like you don't need to do all this deep inner transformational deep work, which is all basically building on thoughts that you've got. You don't need to do that. The biggest transformation, or the most potent transformation, is coming back to zero. Just like it would be with fire. If you're scared of fire, or you've you never come across fire before, you feel that it's hot, and you're like, okay, I'll keep away from it, or I'll be careful when I'm using it. Same thing with this. I'll be careful when I'm using thought. I'll be aware of how it makes me feel, just like I'll be aware of the heat of the fire.
Yeah.
I like what he also said. Your mind is the director of the movie, so we behave according to thought. The thoughts you have and engage with create your behavior. This is why we get fidgety when we have anxiety. So I like that. Like, if the movie that's going on in your head is like anxious, then your body and like you'll behave according to that until you realize you're watching a movie. It won't stop. I think that's got huge implications for all of us. Until you realize that the story you've got in your head around an event is a movie, the feeling won't stop. Because you'll hold on to it like, no, this isn't a movie, this is real life. Can you imagine we're watching fucking Spider-Man and we think it's real life? Oh, he's swinging around outside. Oh my God. Like, it'd be fucking ridiculous. But instead, like, we've watched Spider-Man. We know it's not going to be happening here. There's no Dr. Octavius and all that. And we just carry on with our lives. But the movie's in our heads. It's like we don't know we're watching it. So we're on the lookout for, Shocker and Scorpion and Rhino and all of them lot. And, oh, Spider-Man, where are you? I'm in danger.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to come and help me. Yeah.
If you went to the local supermarket and said, oh, have you seen Spider-Man lately? They're like, the movie isn't coming. What do you mean movie?
Yeah.
It's getting woken up to reality.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one.
That is. It is mad. Like, I think the movie analogy works with it so well because it's, like, you can really see it, innit? It's like, it's trying to put the picture to the words, which is literally what a movie does. But it just gives it so much life because, like, that Spider-Man example, yeah, it's true. I'm not going to be walking around the streets worried if Venom's going to be come chasing after me or like come crashing down in the building because I know it's not. That was just a movie. And those stories, those beliefs that we have in our heads are just movies as well that we've created, self-created movies. If we could see that, like we said, if you could see that, it's true as we can see fire is hot, or I'm watching Spider-Man, it's just a movie. Like, be mad.
Makes me think. I personally would I'm getting more done because I'm seeing it more often. It's sick. Like, I'm reading more of the books that I want to read. I'm having more conversations that I want to have. I'm going places I want to go. I'm getting my steps in, going to the gym. Because I've got a lot less on my mind. A lot less. This movie shit is fucking great. Listen to this. He goes, swapping out Denzel Washington for Jamie Foxx is treating the movie. Or like, what I think treating the movie means to me is trying to change your thoughts.
Yeah.
The what you think is the movie, so we don't need to treat that. You can just leave it. Because swapping out Denzel Washington for fucking Jamie Foxx is not gonna solve the problem.
Not gonna make a difference. Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh, I wish this didn't happen to me compared to this happening to me. Well, it's the same. I wish Denzel Washington wasn't in the movie. I wish it was Jamie Foxx instead. That wanting it to be different, treating the illusion, the movie, that's what I've been caught up in a lot. Like, I know you can relate to this too, having like really crippling anxiety and like just being generally not looking forward to your life, being hollow, like wanting things to be different. It's just being caught up in the illusion. If at the time I could see this, I'd be like, oh, I was watching a movie, alright, fuck all of that obligation stuff, let's do what I really want to do.
Yeah.
Like that would have been a miracle. And if anyone can see that from this movie analogy, yeah, it will set them free. There's fucking tremendous implications of all of this stuff.
And it's interesting because like one of the things that Steve was asking about in the conversation was like, he kept saying like, oh, my doctor said this or my doctor said that, or I've been given this medication or told to take these pills. And what Keith was saying was like that basically that is them trying to treat the symptom, and the symptom is just the shadow of your actual like mind in a way. So it's like you said, trying to treat the movie. it's like trying to be like, oh, that's wrong over there. Let's try and fix it, but it's not gonna do anything other than maybe sedate it or, you know, give it more hyperactivity or whatever. But it's not gonna change the fact that it's illusion. Because you can't heal the illusion by treating the illusion. It doesn't work like that. It'd be like trying to like change change the pictures coming out of a camera on like a film projector in the cinema whilst it's happening. Can't do that. Like, there's way that you might be able to go and do the editing, but it's going to be a lot of work, a lot of effort, and trying to change it while it's playing out on the screen, can't do that either. Like, they're both trying to treat the illusion with more of the illusion. It's like that's what we've been trying to do for a long time in a lot of our lives.
Sedating is a really interesting term because it brings to mind for me, you're trying to like stop the thoughts, and the only way you can do that is by shutting the brain down or like, you know, powering it down with a sedative. But if we went the opposite way and freed your mind rather than trying to sedate it, then the implications of that are crazy as well, because that's what a lot of us are trying to do in various ways. We want to sedate ourselves, like, you know, whether it's food, sex, drugs, loads of things, money. Like, a lot of us are trying to sedate thinking, trying to get rid of certain thoughts and feelings through the outside world, and that's tremendous, man. If we realized when we were doing it, it'd stop.
Instantly be able to like wake yourself up from it. Like, I mean, oh, it was that again.
Yeah. And be chill about it. You know, that's the big thing, I think. That,
go on.
Big thing that I think people do, like, hold on to judgments of themselves. Oh, I can't believe I was living like that. It was all an illusion, and then like judge themselves for it. But just being cool about it, like, oh, okay. Yeah,
but that's like what the whole being at zero thing is, isn't it? Because it's like you said, it's like, oh, I'm at zero, I can see that was now a plus, but now I'm going to create a whole another plus as to why I created that plus. And it's like, you know, Keith said yesterday with Steve, like, never mind why, because the why is just going back into the illusion. You know, it's like in the Matrix when like Neo, you know, wakes up and he comes out of the pod thing, it'd be like him going, oh my God, it was just an illusion. Let me go back in to figure out like why why I was in the illusion in the first place. Like, you just wouldn't do that. Like, it's going from plus to zero to plus again.
And I think the big thing that we take, like, to summarize all of that is it's not about getting rid of the illusion. It's not about getting rid of the plus. It's about being okay with the plus being there. And just leaving it alone.
And that's zero plus. Because that's the truth, right? We're never always going to be living from zero, just zero. There's always going to be a plus. It's always going to be zero plus. But if we're okay, like you said, with the plus being there, that's all we need. It's like there's a quote, happiness is being at peace with whatever is on your mind.
Oh yeah, I heard it differently. Happiness is a mind that is at peace with itself.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, zero plus.
Yeah, you got, like, anything that goes through your head, if you're cool with it,
yeah,
you can just carry on. You can live your life, have a great time.
Yeah.
It's not your divorce that's creating your illness. It's your creation of what that means for you. Wow. Like, because a divorce can't create how someone feels. If it did, everyone would feel the same way about it. But I know a lot of people who are really happy, and I know a lot of people who are really sad.
Yeah.
And I know some people are just like, yeah, it's about time. You know, there's no strong feelings here. Everything in between. So if it's not the divorce, and it's what we're creating about what that means for someone, then the game changes.
Yeah.
Completely. You get to create what that means for you. If you can come from zero, then you can create.
Yeah. It's like we're the creator, and that's the creation. That we've created an experience which is hard or difficult around divorce, or easy and like calm and maybe not fun, but like, do you know what I mean? Freeing for some people, like, because that's their creation of it. Like, what's your creation of anything? And you know, swap divorce out for anything. Swap that for, you know, being on holiday, being stressed, looking after kids, whatever, like anything, everything that we do, we're always creating the experience. It's just not always consciously, sometimes it's subconsciously, and that's when we're caught in the pluses and the illusion. Whereas when it's conscious, and we're more conscious of it, that's when we're coming from 0 plus, and being accepting of that.
Yeah, there's another thing he said to Stephen. He goes, when you're safe, hope comes back. The real you is inside of you. A lot of people don't feel safe in their own mind. Like, it's a dangerous neighborhood to be in.
Yeah.
I don't want to be on my own. I don't want to be with my thoughts. This is dangerous. When you feel safe, then everything will change. That's got big implications too.
Yeah. There's this quote I wrote down. If you can see the difference between the illusion of what's being created and what's doing the creating, it doesn't matter what's being created. It's all the illusion.
Say that again, man, because that's just...
If you can see the difference between the illusion of what's being created and what's doing the creating, it doesn't matter what's being created. It's all the illusion.
It doesn't matter what's being created.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter that you got a divorce. It doesn't matter that you don't have a girlfriend. It doesn't matter that you do. It doesn't matter that you don't. It doesn't matter. For anything that applies, it just doesn't matter. Never mind why. It doesn't matter. Like, I think a lot of personal development is based on it does matter.
Yeah.
A lot of treatment for this stuff too. It does matter. It's because of your childhood. It's because of this. It's because of... Doesn't matter. Can you... Fuck, man. Like, the implications of that, again, we're free.
Yeah. And here's the thing, right? On that call, Steve, and you know Steve better than I do, he's been quite difficult with accepting anything, hasn't he? Even from doctors, you know, he's always been researching, like, you know, different types of therapy, or what does this mean? What does that mean? Like, very, like, heavy in the what, heavy in the plus. But then he had that moment yesterday where he realised what you was just saying, and he realised it, and he just stopped and he smiled. Don't know if you clocked it, it was a very subtle little smile, but it's like he found like that place that was like, even if it was just for a moment of like, I'm actually alright. This is all just a creation. Like, I'm not that stuff. And that's what the implications of this are. That's the implications of like knowing the difference between what's the creation and what's doing the creating. And when you realise it, like what Keith said, like, none of it matters because it's all illusion. And then that just brings you straight back into that. Oh, all right, I'm awake again from the illusion. I know that I'm watching the movie.
Like, when you know you're watching a movie, it's so when you don't know, it's very convincing, but when you know, it's so... I just realised, like, a lot of movies I had from when I was younger, I can look back at them and see, oh yeah, I didn't need to behave like that. But I didn't know it at the time. I didn't know it was a movie.
This is a gem. If there's anything that you guys take away from this video, or listening to this episode, like, please let it be this. Please, like, honestly, this is powerful. When you see your innocent misuse of your own mind, you are set free. And that's what you're just saying. Like, you can see now how you were caught up in all of the movies, but you're also seeing the innocence in the fact that that's how you were using your mind then. And you're free from it, right? You're not like, oh, why was I doing that? You're not buying back into it. You're free from it. You just drop in the plus.
Cure is in the calm. You can drop the movie, you can leave it alone, and you can really see, like, everyone has psychological innocence. It's the innocent misuse of the power of thought. Innocent being the most important word there. Because it's not like anyone's really trying to ruin their own minds. But they're just caught up in something. And we all have. We've all been caught up in stuff. We'll all get caught up in things in the future. But I think just being gentle about it is the best way.
Yeah, like seeing the innocence in it. I think that's a beautiful way to put it. like seeing the innocence in it. Because if like when you look at a child and they do something, you know, when they're like 1.5, 2, they're kind of still figuring out the world and stuff, and they might like knock off a glass of water off of a, you know, side table. It's not like, oh my god, what are you doing? It's like you see the innocence in their behaviour, because you're like, oh, they don't really know any better.
Yeah, it's like dogs.
Yeah.
If I could be as gentle with myself as I am with my dogs,
Yeah.
then, you know, I'd have even less on my mind.
Yeah.
But I think that's a lot of people can't drop the plus that they've got on themselves for stuff that they should have done right or wrong. And me too, definitely.
Yeah.
But then dropping that plus, it's like it doesn't matter. So no matter how it feels, when I have that movie playing in my head, I am separate to it.
Mm.
And I think this is, again, a lot of people don't want that.
Mm.
A lot of people want all plus. They don't want zero.
Mm.
And that's okay. Like, this isn't right for them. And they're probably not going to watch this stuff. They're on their own journey. But a lot of people who this resonates with, this is what is coming back to ourselves. It's coming back to the real self rather than all of this plus-based stuff. Plus-based and not plant-based. How about that? I like the word Insight Club instead of Fight Club. This is Insight Club.
Yeah.
First rule about Insight Club, tell everyone about Insight Club.
Yeah. Second rule, see the first rule.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Is there any other bits that really stood out for you? I think they were the main things for me.
I just want to recap the whole bipolar thing.
Yeah.
Because I think what our mentor Keith did was so brilliant. Like, he asked Stephen to define it, and he just spoke to his wisdom.
Mm.
He didn't speak about, oh, what did the doctor say? He just asked him about him. He kept it on him, and yesterday was nothing short of a miracle.
Yeah.
Because what he was able to see in that conversation, what Stephen was being able to see, was like, I don't know, it's like someone opening the curtains for the first time.
Yeah.
He might shut them straight after, but
Yeah.
knowing that, you know, the sun is out there, that's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Now he knows that it's there, he can have it. I think that's the implications for anyone who's got mental illness.
Mm. And the thing that I love as well is, like, what's great about Keith is that he's a doctor, innit? He's PhD, like he's been a clinical psychologist, so he knows that, like, a lot of psychology are doing what they're doing because that's all they know. But he's like, if they could see this stuff that we're talking about, if they could see it, then the way that they treat or work with their patients and people is going to be entirely different. So they're going to know that why have we been treating the illusion? Why have we been trying to change the actor in the movie or change the movie all the time?
Mm.
That's not the helpful thing. Like, because there's all of this access to just innate well-being anyway.
That's it. Your innate well-being will cure anything that your small mind creates.
Mm.
So, like, my state of 0, anything multiplied by 0 is going to be 0. Any of this, like, you know, I think, what's this I I'm referring to?
Who's the self you're referring to?
Yeah, who's this self? Who's this I that I'm referring to? As soon as I say I'm stepping out of what I really am. But that's okay. I can do that as a point of reference, innit? It's useful. Get to have friends, get to have a fucking... You know, I'm not saying you can't have that without 0, but there's a lot of plus stuff that I like. It's optional.
Mm.
If it's optional, yeah, I'll take it or leave it. I'll decide.
Mm.
But I think, like, as soon as I say I or self or me, I'm stepping out of 0 into plus. And that's where I want to start being very aware.
Mm.
What am I choosing to put on top of my plus here? I'll take water all day long. But there's some other stuff I'd rather not have.
Mm.
I think, like, my 0 multiplied by any of this plus negates it.
Mm.
So what if you have a business, if you don't, if you make money, if you don't, if you have a job, if you don't, if you have a girlfriend, if you don't, if you're traveling or you're not, nothing means anything. It's optional to have this stuff.
Mm.
But if you don't want it, just come back to 0.
Mm.
Powerful implications for everyone. I would love to know what everyone got from listening to this. The implications of this episode are massive.
Yeah. What are the implications for you? That's what we want to know.
Implication being what is now true for you, or how has your understanding or your outlook or your perspective changed since hearing all of this?
Yeah. Where can they hit us up?
Instagram, Sachin's Insights, and I am Alex Manzi. Alright, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Peace.